Hi everyone, it's Monique from Exceptional Tuition and Resumes. Today I'm going to give you some basic social questions to help you prepare for your future interviews as a graduate nurse. So I hope you're having a wonderful week and getting excited because it's that time of the year where graduates are going for their graduate programs and you're about to start your career. So I'm going to give you some tips and tricks into how to answer very simple general questions at the beginning of your interview. So the first question which most graduate nurses will encounter is the key question, tell me about yourself. So the purpose behind this question is because the assessor wants to know a little bit about your values, your beliefs, and your passions as an actual person. So, how would you introduce yourself? So you'd say, to give you a little bit of background, my family is my priority. I'm a really social person, and so I always believe that family is number one, and I also really value my friends and social circles. So see how that particular answer is very specific, but it identifies the value of family and people as something important. And as a nurse, that's a key concept which should be in your actual answer. Other things which you may like to talk about is your passions. So, what is something that you love to do when you're not in the education environment or in the clinical environment? And your beliefs. So, what do you strongly believe in? So, is there a cause that you really believe in or something that means something to your heart? That's what the tell me about yourself question is looking for from a recruiter's perspective. So don't be intimidated by this question because there's no right or wrong answer. It's purely just to get them to know you at the very, very surface level. Another question you might be encountering as a graduate nurse is, tell me about some of your best qualities. Now, this is where you as a nurse need to have some self-awareness and to know that you understand yourself and what you do best, okay? So when you are answering this question, the interviewer is wanting to know how confident you are about yourself and also about your key abilities and your character as a person, okay? So think about those elements when you answer what are your best qualities, for example. Another key question at the beginning of your interview could be, tell me about your preferences as nursing specialties. So this particular question is actually asking you to talk about what area of nursing do you like and what would you like to do in the future. So the reason is because clinical assessors or recruiters want to know where they can position you in the short term and in the long term as you apply for your graduate roles. And they want to see, where would you excel in the future based on your interest in the clinical area, okay? So talk about, what is the areas that you like and why in particular, okay? Another key question could be, did you have any professional experiences before you became a nurse? So this is probably more applicable to the older nurses. So say if you're entering the clinical profession in your mid-20s or later, and you've had a little bit of a career, or maybe you're a senior nurse in your 40s and 50s and you're just entering the profession. This is where you can actually take your career history in something else and actually apply those skills and transfer them to the nursing. And then this is where you can actually say, well, I came from a nurturing environment, or I came from a customer-focused career, which I believe will be very, very applicable to the nursing environment. So, for example, myself, I have a very strong education background and recruitment background. So for me, it is really, really useful because I've always been dealing with people. And having that nurturing asset is very good as a nurse. So think about how your past career applies to your future career, and then think about the strengths of it. If you're a new nurse and you have not been in the clinical environment and you're on the younger side, maybe you can talk about some of the social volunteering activities you've done in the past, which show that you're community driven. Or think about what you've done in your university environment where you've given to people, because you want to showcase that you have the right qualities to be a nurse. And a nurse is a giving person, they're a nurturer, they're caring, all those beautiful qualities, okay? So think about how you can translate that. Another question you might experience is, what interests you about working for our particular organization? So this is where you need to do your homework before you even step into that interview and demonstrate what you know about that organization, okay? So what are they known for? What is their strengths? And why does that attract you as a nurse? So is that particular organization specialized in a certain area of healthcare? Or do they have a particular reputation that aligns with you? Are they an organisation that has a particular social purpose that you really support and want to be a part of? So think carefully about how you fit in with the performance of that organisation and you bring them together, okay? So that is really important to show that you've done your homework and you know what that hospital represents, and you of course know their values too. It's important for this particular question to also be honest in your answer. So why do you want to work for that company too? So they could also be close to your home. That's a very acceptable answer, but say a little bit more than that, okay? So talk more from an emotional perspective, okay? How do you get that information? Well, you go straight to the website of that hospital and the organisation, go to the values section, go to the About Us section, go on Google and type in community activities of the organisation and just learn. Have it on the back of your head what they've done, why they're known, why people respect them, and then infuse that into your answer, okay? Another question which you might encounter too in the early nursing graduate interview is, how do you deal with a high pressure environment? So this particular question is actually testing whether you can handle stress, because being a nurse is absolutely not an easy job. It takes a special person to be able to be a nurse, and it takes someone that can manage their time and manage situational factors in a way that it doesn't affect them, okay? So that's what this question is asking you to do, is to assess how you can respond in a volatile situation, high stress situation, in any case, like with any kind of patient, any condition, any workplace environment, any team member, okay? So be clear in how do you manage stress and what do you do to manage stress on the spot. Another part of that question too as well is also about prioritization. So how do you deal with that particular kind of issue, okay? So how do you work out what's most important, what's least important? Another very simple question that you will also be encountering is, why should we hire you for the position of a graduate nurse? So this is where you need to be, again, aware of your strengths and be able to sell yourself personally against other nurses, okay? Because let's be honest, you are going to be up against thousands and thousands of graduate nurses. So you need to know what is your key selling point, your unique selling point, USP from a marketing perspective. What is your strengths as a nurse? Why do you stand out as a nurse? And what makes you different, okay? So you might be someone that is really, really compassionate. So that could be a real strength, especially if you have difficult patients in like mental health, for example, or if you're in a palliative care situation. Your ability to show compassion is going to be very, very strong. Alternatively, if you are someone that wants to work in emergency, you might have the ability to deal with stress in every single angle because you are logical and you're straight to the point. You have no emotion, you just deal with the situation. So think about, what is it that makes you unique as a nurse, and how does that fit in to the role of a nurse? And also come up with, what are your key social skills too as well, because it's really important that you are able to deal with circumstances, deal with different people. So why should we hire you compared to another nurse? What is that special one thing that you could beat everyone else in? Okay, so that's another key question. And also another really simple question is, why did you become a nurse? Or what is it that attracts you about the nursing profession? And this is where you need to be really honest and sell your passion for the job, because nursing is not for everyone. It is a job that some people will stay a long time and others may leave within a few years. So you need to say, what is it that really drew you to the profession, and think about your answer in a long-term situation, okay? Because most companies do not want nurses to come and go. They want nurses to stay long-term and to grow a career and go through the ranks from, being a PC to AIN to EN to RN to CN and all the way up as far as they can go. So you need to be able to sell that you are there for the long haul. Is it something that was in your family that triggered your desire to become a nurse? Or was it something that you experienced yourself as a patient that made you want to become a nurse and to give back to society as a nurse? Or is it because you respect nurses and you really want to, give to people? So what is your honest reason for being a nurse? Because nursing is a special profession. It's a competitive profession, but it's something that you can take and do for the rest of your life if you really, really wanted to. So that's some really important initial questions that I think you will be asked when you go into your interviews as a graduate nurse. So my name is Monique Jeremiah. I'm the Director of Exceptional Tuition and Resumes. We specialise in nursing and healthcare related resumes, cover letters, selection criteria, LinkedIn, and of course interview training. So I hope that's been helpful for you. You can check out our website, www.exceptionaltuitionandresumes.com.au. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube, and I wish you all the best in your interviews, and we'll have many more videos coming up soon to help you with your graduate interviews. So have a wonderful week and good luck with your applications from Exceptional Tuition and Resumes.